Good morning. Good afternoon. There's my microphone. I was going to read a quick little passage from the ramp. You've seen it all before. I've been talking to Gary Vee and Mr. Beast. They're experts, and a few other people. And they tell me you got to take action. Keep going. Keep moving. No matter what's happening, just keep moving. So this channel and what I want to serve, how I want to serve, and how I want to show up, and what I want to offer is all about the fusion of my 30 plus years of international TV production, documentaries, branded content, working for some of the biggest brands and companies in the world, fusing that with my spiritual practice, so creativity and spirituality, is one, right? Rick Rubin is the classic example, the modern day kind of example of being someone who is hugely successful and made a lot of people really successful through fusing, understanding that the creative world really is a spiritual practice. It is grace flowing through you if you are open to it. I had a shave, removed the hat. A little bit of a difference. Anyway, so there's a few things that have been coming up around the idea of quote unquote soft skills and the creative process, which I'll dive into a little bit more, and with a couple of little stories. First of all, jump in the description. There's a link to my Amazon store, Amazon author page. Follow my page if you can. That'd be great. I'd love that. And get yourself a copy of the book. Starting out the day with a medical medium heavy mental detox smoothie. Get yourself some if you can. Thank you to my wife for making it. Okay. Page 101 of the ramp. Now, this is written, as I've said before, as a quote-unquote children's chapter book. It doesn't necessarily, excuse the pun, land like that. It is 270 pages. It was just, I'm not a professional writer, don't claim to be, never set out to sell books. I'm happy if they sell because I think the story is beautiful. The cover is very childlike, of course, but there are no pictures inside. It's all words. What the intention was that I caught this vision, as I've said before, and I just ran with it. I took action, and it took me 10 years to run with it. It was a long run, but I wanted to get the story down somehow. Now, whether that manifests into other things, more books, this is kind of a part one. I'm writing part two as we speak. But whether that manifests into more books, animated series, movies, I don't know. That was the vision, but I'm open. I'm staying open. That's the key. I'm not putting any handcuffs on spirit, on God. I'm open to all of it. It lands differently with many different people, of course. That's how it works. That's how creativity works, I guess. Anyway, one of the main characters, Oscar Jr., is a very passionate young tug. The story's all about these tugs and their world at this fictional airport called Humbert Valley. And Oscar Jr. is very passionate about this urban myth that says that if you dream big enough and you are humble and you do the right thing and you live your life in service and kindness, that you can transform into anything that you want to, which I believe is true. I guess why it's written for children is children don't have any problem in believing that anything is possible. That part of us kind of gets beaten out of us as we go through life and get told that we must do certain things to get to a certain place. So the idea of visioning and dreaming kind of gets withered away as we get older and interact with race consciousness and society more and more. And my journey has been more like this. thank God I've got incredible friends and family that have helped me out along the way. But this young character here, he believes in the urban myth, and he believes that you can transform into anything great. Big shout out to the 747 Queen of the Skies. Great inspiration for this book. Anyway, here's a little missive, here's a little passage. I believed with all of my cylinders that my Uncle John was out there somewhere. I could feel his presence everywhere. I'll try and keep this all to myself for now. I don't need to upset my parents or the other tugs in class again. I will finish tug school with Dad, and after that, I will go for it. Nothing will stop me. I know what I want, and I know that India Alpha is real. As I focused my gaze to the west, the glow from the old hangar far off in the distance was shining bright. India Alpha was working right now, helping to make dreams come true. This is all kind of in the mystical realm, what we call the unseen. The unseen realm, the invisible. But as we've talked about before with the 747, for example, that was a classic, magnificent example of the invisible becoming visible, with the seed of a dream by a few individuals. You know, it's the acorn becoming the oak tree. And so the idea, that to me fits in this realm of this idea of soft skills, this kind of mystical thing that you can carry into any part of your life, whether you're a professional director, executive, whatever it is. There's a certain number of skills that you harness over during the course of your life that I think make the difference, you know, between those who are great and nothing against anyone else. But if you feel like you're just coasting, it might be time to just stop, maybe look at a meditation practice and stop and think about what are the soft skills, what else can I bring to this position, this job, this project that I'm in? What else can I bring that isn't necessarily teachable? It's from the unseen world. You know, whether it's your complete authenticity, the way you show up organically, whether it's your heart, your deep love for human beings, or whatever it is. This has worked for me on countless occasions. Not only do I have 30 years of craft experience with directing and producing and writing and lighting and camera work and sound, although sometimes you wouldn't know it, but I've got all those skills in my toolkit that I know I can draw on. But for me, in the last 10 years in particular, I've really been harnessing the quote-unquote soft skills. My practice is this: every morning I meditate and I pray. I'll often pray to my loved ones who are now deceased on the other side, I believe, and they show up. I've got one quick example. I was on a project. This is like my character here in The Ramp, Oscar Jr. He knows that his uncle, who has kind of moved on, and he knows that his uncle's still out there somewhere. He keeps receiving messages and inspiration from his uncle. Well, growing up, I had there was an incredible person who was very close to me, like a grandmother, not blood related. When I was younger, I couldn't say her full name, so I started to call her Mooey when I was a little boy. Mooey. Not a really common kind of a name. Well, she passed about 10 years ago. She was, I keep getting messages here, she was about 90, I guess. Incredible woman. I'm very close to her still. Well, every morning I pray to her and I say thank you and please guide me and guide my steps and hold my hand and whatever the prayer is. Well, I was on a documentary project. I'll put a link maybe in the description. I was on a beautiful documentary project in Eindhoven, in the Netherlands, doing a film about an ecological story about the Dommel River. Incredible region in the Netherlands, Eindhoven. It's the Silicon Valley of Europe. Well, just this one particular morning, I wasn't really feeling it. It was the first day of our shoot. Something wasn't right. I don't know. Energetically, I was just a little bit on edge. And I just stood there on this beautiful little street in a town called Noonan, which was the hometown of Vincent van Gogh. Right, beautiful place. I've got my crew around me, Zuza, Anna Rock, Anya, Tomek, and my wonderful friends from Eindhoven who are guiding us, Frank and Eric. And we were standing outside the Van Gogh Museum in Noonan. And I was just alone just for a moment while the crew were off filming. And I just kind of was praying to Mui, just asking her for inspiration, a bit of support. Well, no joke, I turned around and walked, I don't know, maybe 25 meters, 25 yards, whatever. And right there was a store. It's a Dutch word, I guess. I look around and there's a store, just a tiny little town, Noonan. There's a store and a big sign, 3 big signs that said Mui. I kid you not. This is not a common name at all. It's a common word in Dutch. I think it means beautiful, which is really appropriate. So I smiled and I kept it to myself. This is the first time I'm really talking about it. But it just reminded me that, whatever you believe in, that there are constant reminders, I say soft skills, constant reminders, signs that you are on the right path. Now, I think that that was a beautiful story for me because it was just a beautiful reminder from above that my wonderful, I say grandmother, is still with me, guiding me. Now, another fantastic soft skill that we learn a lot at Agape International Spiritual Center is the idea of listening. There's been a lot going around lately, people advising me to teach and coach storytelling. Now, where I've been really successful in certain projects in the last 10 years has been story listening. As a documentary filmmaker, you don't want to be blabbing too much. You want to listen. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth. So that's a fantastic skill to really hone into. We call it sacred listening at Agape. I'm pointing that way because Agape is down there. We call it sacred listening, but story listening to me is critical. Most people are in a conversation they can't wait to speak. Now, the practice here that I'll leave you with is really hone in on that idea of listening. If you're out there doing a story, coaching, whatever it is, that individual or that group that you are supporting or serving, they want to be heard. So hone in on that skill of sacred listening or of story listening, not so much storytelling. There's enough people out there blabbing like me right now, so I'm going to hang up the phone. And I'll just leave you with that. Trust the creative process. Tune into those soft skills. These are the things that will help you stand out, rise above the crowd. Trust me, it's worked for me, and it's not forced. It's absolutely not forced. It's already in you. Okay, harness the energy of spirit of the whole universe. Okay, story listening, trust your instincts, and pray. If that works for you, pray. Okay, have a great week, wherever you are, and we'll see you soon. Please check the link in the description. There's a newsletter coming out on, I think, Fridays, and I'm distributing a free ebook as well. So please check that out. There's a link in the description below. Okay, ciao.